Hey guys, it's the Patient Hodler coming at you with another video, and in this one I am going to take a look with you guys at the current whale situation within the OMI market. And for that we are going to assess the situation, look at proof and evidence, screenshots and videos together, and we are going to deduct strategies in the end, how we can act as smaller investors in this rough market. There will be a lot of data and evidence involved in that process, but stay with me, it will all make sense in the end and you will see what is really happening in this market. But before we start, please give this video a like if you enjoy it, subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think about the OMI whale situation in the comments below. Also, please keep in mind that I am a crypto and NFT investor and not a financial advisor. So please do your own research before you ape full retard in all the OMI tokens that the whales dumped on the market. And with that said, let's get started. Before we dive deep into the matter, we just have to get a general overview, and I know that a lot of people already know this, but just give this 20 seconds. We have a total of 750 billion tokens minted in the beginning, of which 300 billion started off in the reserve wallet and 41 billion started off in the Vault wallet, and the burn wallet in the beginning was 0. We have another 97 billion OMI tokens locked up forever in an accident, which are not available and will never be available in our lifetimes, which leaves a total supply of 312 billion OMI tokens left that could technically enter circulating supply, of which one part is for business development actions and activities, and some is in the OMI founder wallets, which is partially being unlocked over time until the whole supply is unlocked. So technically we could consider on the long term a supply of 312 billion tokens that could enter the circulation. If we want to keep track of the tokens that are in the reserve wallet, Vault wallet, or already burned, we can go to the OMI token tracker site and just take a look at it. But technically everything of this, the full 341 billion tokens, are removed from circulating supply. So for our whale problem assessment, it is not that relevant anymore. The only relevance it has is for buybacks if this wallet goes close to 0 and has to be refilled. At this point I want to recommend to follow the channel of Jason Colon, because he provides a lot of data which you could look at and just deduct your own conclusions from about whale wallets and how they are developing over time. And what we can see here is that we have the top 92 wallets total holdings minus reserve wallet and burn wallet, the ones that I showed you on the OMI token tracker, and minus the business and the exchange wallets. So all the wallets that are Ascendex, OKEx, and Bitforex and Gate.io, the 4 exchanges where OMI is listed. So if we subtract all of those wallets, we are left with a total supply of 243 billion tokens, which is found in 92 wallets at the top. So we can say that most of the OMI tokens are held by a few wallets. So the first question answered here is, do we have a whale overweight that can execute actions in the market? And the clear answer is yes. If we look at this OMI chart as it is right now, and we are assuming that we are investing in a perfect market and we have 20, 30 exchanges and millions of investors that are equally distributed into that token, then we would interpret that we have a euphoria trend here with some people that still valued this price as something where you should buy in, and then a psychological mark to take profits, which did let the price drop until others entered, and then a sell-off that has to have some bad news behind that, where you would have feared that the whole project is going nowhere. So this correction would be correlated to something really bad coming in, like the project has been hacked or something like that. And then we have all these people entering here and Andre Jig entering up there, and then we have going on here the next rally and a lot of people just saying, okay, 0.6, 0.7 cents, that's a good way for me to take profit. And then others that set their take profit a little bit lower, and that would naturally result in others setting their profits lower and lower, and the take profit of Veve is somewhere up there. And this in general results into this squeezed trend line where you have this triangle formed in a normal market where the price bounces from the lower line to the upper line and just has less and less range to act in a normal market. And usually this bottom line is held by people that are just not willing to sell off their tokens in a certain price area because they have seen, oh, it only went down to this point, so now I will buy in a little bit above that. And usually this continues until you have significant external factors that are forcing the price to go into one or another direction, like black swan events where you fall out of that triangle, or huge and major news that force this price to go out of the triangle, which we could technically see for Ecomi here. But if we observe the price movement carefully and map out the events, we should not be at this point anymore. So I've taken the recent events here and put them in colors according to good news, bad news, and into the Ecomi chart of the last month. And we see here we had the news of the Master Collector program and immediately a dump afterwards. Then we had Disney announcement and USPS stamps and all of that. Big rally up to this overhead resistance and a big dump again. Then we had DesignerCon going on and the Disney drops going on and the utility program, but we have continuously being dumped on. This is all good news, and you should just see a rally and yes, natural corrections along the way, but higher highs and higher lows as good news come out. And then we fell down to all this level and we had seen a rally here because we had the trailer of Andre Jigs, and a lot of people thought that this would be maybe something big announced, like an exchange or like Pokemon's coming to the app, and nothing. And after that, a dump even deeper. So from here and with the knowledge here, nothing has changed. So the movement should have stopped here because it is the same situation again here at this point. But in general, this downtrend into the good news is very strange to me. And then from here, we had the announcement of the car collectibles, again addressing the French market. We had showrooms 2.0, and we had all this stuff along here with the delay of Immutable X in all that region. So yes, technically you could understand that the price moves sideways waiting for the good news of Immutable X, but we have been trending lower even though everyone was certain that Immutable X would come, which should have resulted in a bullish uptrend. And then Immutable X was ready and we saw a pump and we saw more FOMO in, and here we can see the first huge sell-off. And that's not up here where you can say, okay, third time overhead resistance, we see sell-offs. No, it was down here and then another pump out of that. And then we had the Coca-Cola announcement and the Mickey announcement and the Discord hack where we are right now. So we had one time bad news here as some people got scammed out of like $20,000 or something, and the integrity of the Discord has been breached. But we also have a major licensor, one of the biggest in the world, coming to that app, and it does not result in any sort of a pump up to the upper head resistance. So this is very, very strange, and this is where we have to look into, because this means that here is a huge selling going on. Here is a huge sell wall, because we can see that the bulls tried to break out into the upper areas here with all the good news. So the following screenshots are from Gate.io from today, and as we can see here, there are sell orders of 200,000 and upwards Ecomi at the lower places. And now you could say that's not that much. There are a lot of whales that buy up rapidly a few million, but then we can also see that there are sell orders sitting right below 6 cents with 1 million each. And if you scroll up the list, you see more and more of this sell order packs. And there are also sell orders, as we have seen already, of 50 million US dollars sitting right at that mark. So it seems that regardless of the quality of news, these sell orders are sitting there to have bullish people run into them. So if we go back to this chart, we can see how the price is topped at exactly those levels, and just the bullish movement cannot break through it. And if it loses steam, we see the price roll over and the chart coming down again. And this is exactly where you can see the power of this pack of 100 or 200 top wallets that are holding most of the Ecomi, because even if everyone who has access to these exchanges comes in, the financial power would just go into that sell wall, and then after a while they would run out of steam and the price is coming back down. But let's look at the first piece of evidence here that we got from the channel from Dr. Profit. Apparently the guy has some money to spend on Ecomi, and he is showing us the sell wall coming in. As we can see here, he is in a trading app and he is identifying a huge sell wall at around 0.00751, and he's putting in 50 million Ecomi that he wants to order. And as we can see here, after he is typing in the password for that, he has placed the order, and now this is the amount necessary to break through that sell wall. As we can see here, the order gets filled, the volume kicks in, and he was able to move the price slightly up with that huge order. So this is one piece of evidence where we can see what it takes. It takes 50 million OMI in a single order to break through that sell wall, and after that another one is re-established. So we can be very grateful that we have people like Dr. Profit out there that are willing to share something like this, some field experiment like this, and he basically calls the whales out that he is diamond hands and that he wants to buy more than only the 50 million Ecomi from the so-called paper hands here. We have not talked yet about what the intention of the whales is to keep the price down, because you should think that the price going up with someone with 1 billion tokens is enough to make those people very, very wealthy and rich, and that should be the thing that they really want. But here's the thing, it's way more lucrative in the short term if they sell this to retail investors here and then pick up from the profits more OMI tokens here, artificially pump the price up with some good news or some hype that they sense in the community, and after that sell here again to drop the price artificially and then to pick up here when other people that are scared and retail investors that have never seen a price fall like this in 1 or 2 days when they sell their tokens low. In general, you could get the imagination that although we have all these good news, that OMI token is going nowhere with this movement here. So let's take a look at the 3 most used trading techniques of whales. One of those is OTC, which is basically hidden transactions, what we see a lot with Bitcoin. First of all, OTC means over the counter apparently, but I like to translate it with off the charts, because you cannot see those transactions on the exchanges because there is no order placed and no order filled that could move the price. There is someone going off the charts and gets it over the counter from someone else. If someone wants to buy 1 billion Ecomi and gets it sent from one address to another, then we only can see that on the OMI whale watch. This technique is exactly to have the retail investors not to see that you are accumulating as a whale. The second technique is pump and dump, and this one is used to increase the price drastically, sell high, then drop the price to leave retail investors in despair, and then buy back low again to have more tokens in the end, and you continue that pattern over time to just accumulate more and more and strip retail investors of their wealth. The last one I want to explain here in that huge collection of market manipulation from Wikipedia, link in the description, and this one is a bear raid. In a bear raid, there is an attempt to push the price of a stock down by heavy selling or short selling. So if we look at our Ecomi chart again, we can see that this could very well be a bear raid driving retail investors that have FOMO'd in up here somewhere into complete despair and try to save whatever they have left of their cash at that certain point. And after that, you get that automatic rally that after a certain point gets so many people in, or is the point where the whales turn around the game and the bear raid is over. A good example, in my opinion, for pump and dump, and I don't want to accuse Andre Jig of that, but maybe some whales have just felt the sentiment of the market in that direction so that they feel the hype and they pushed into that, is that we had that Pokemon hype on no basis, with no evidence from the Veve official channel, and went all the way up, and these news have been enhanced and enforced, and then it came out that there was nothing behind that except an Andre Jig Patreon group, and then a huge dump that is also not justified after that rally. So people could have been a little bit disappointed and dumped to a certain point and then moved sideways, but this type of dump, this for me is a good example of pump and dump. And also maybe this one here, because you have the Disney Golden Moments announcing all this good news and then you just get dumped on, and then you have more like heavy burns coming in that is bullish news to OMI investors, and you just get dumped on again. So maybe this whole thing here was also a pump and dump, and we need to be aware of this. Now the next piece of evidence that I want to show you guys is this one from the 16th of December. And actually this is exactly the day where the Veve Discord got hacked and all the FUD came out from a lot of channels about how Veve was hacked and actually wasn't. And between 8 and 9 p.m. there were several transactions of the top 200 wallets, like these ones here, all moving in total almost 4 billion from those whale wallets to Bitforex wallets. And as you can see here, we have here rank 150 sent 154 million OMI to Bitforex. Rank 110 has sent 258 million Ecomi to Bitforex. So I've taken the time here to just write all of these transactions to Bitforex from the different rank wallets into one Excel sheet, and we can see here this was all within 1 hour, a movement of 4 billion OMI tokens from all these different ranks here. And in my opinion, this is a little bit concerning, because that was exactly on the day where we got the bad news. And then, yes, we had Coca-Cola news and Mickey Mouse, but the price is still curving down despite the good news and despite that the Discord hack has not been as severe as a lot of people assumed that it would be. So could it be that we have a large coordinated movement towards Bitforex to dump or to build up a sell wall again at this price and just move the price lower and lower until we find support where whales could accumulate, or even to below the support to really let the price collapse down to like 0.2 cents? So let's listen to this part of the interview, because Daniel Lee calls the guy out basically, and this John is holding more than 1 billion Ecomi tokens. So at today's point, and this was only 1 month ago, at today's point, he would be still among the first 90 whales. But let's listen to that.
Question. And I think this is maybe a common sentiment around whales. They think whales are manipulative, manipulating the price, and maybe some are. So some people are saying, well, the reason why your TA is so spot on, especially recently, is real spot on there. It's because you're actually manipulating the price with your OMI bag, with your 1 billion plus OMI. That's how you're doing this. What would you say to that naysayer necessarily?
You know, I'm really happy you said that, because it's another way of saying you're going to the gym and someone says you're on steroids. It's a compliment at the end of the day, right? That's what I believe, right? That's how my mindset's programmed. Whenever you take a negativity, you make it positive, and you realize that everything's still going to be good, right? You know yourself better than someone else knows you. So the one thing I can say, 1 billion token, as much as people might think it's a lot, guys, look at everything that's out there. It's not even a lot. Trust me. It's not a lot. There could be another millionaire that just pumps it and dumps it for no reason, right?
So if we look at that answer, obviously he cannot admit that he's manipulating the price, but he somehow is proud of the accusation that he is doing that. And then he says 1 billion of OMI tokens is not even a lot if we look at what is out there. Yes, but it is in the top 100 wallets if we just look at the Ecomi ecosystem and what whales are out there at the moment within the Ecomi. Yes, of course, there are Bitcoin whales out there where this John might be a small fish, but the 1 billion is enough to significantly lower the price, and we have seen that the whales are acting in a way where a lot of whales are more or less doing the same movement across 1 hour or 1 day or in a certain time period. But let's look at a little bit more of that video, because he is actually naming one of the most famous founder wallets of an ex-founder that is suspicious in the sense of moving a lot of OMI and dumping it into the market where the price goes down. And here's some special information here that is very valuable.
You know yourself better than someone else knows you. So the one thing I can say, 1 billion token, as much as people might think it's a lot, guys, look at everything that's out there. It's not even a lot. Trust me. It's not a lot. There could be another millionaire that just pumps it and dumps it for no reason, right?
By the way, he said here there could be another millionaire that pumps it for no reason, pumps and dumps it for no reason, another one, except him.
And that could go, doesn't Joseph have a lot of, Joseph has a lot of OMI tokens when he left the project, if I'm not mistaken?
Joseph Janik?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a founder.
I looked into his LinkedIn. He says he's a day trader.
So, according to John, this Joseph Janik is a day trader, so he might be using huge amounts of OMI to get into the market, then build up a sell wall where the price lowers and then buy back in. It could be a possibility. And here we have one whale talking about another one, saying that he is pumping and dumping the price for no reason.
Really?
Yeah,
actually, I didn't know that.
Go check out. It's a day trader. So he's day trading, and guess what? I already know what's happening here. It's, this is just the psychology when it comes to trading, guys. This is easy. Let's make it happen.
Well, I think you got an impression of how whales are behaving here. So the accusation that he is manipulating the price to be spot on with his technical analysis, I think is a little bit off, because actually, why would you do that if you can just manipulate the price and make a lot of money out of that? Maybe for your ego, yes, but I think it's more that as he knows how the whales are moving and acting, and as he knows other whales apparently, he probably has an idea what everyone is up to at the next moment. So if we go back to our OMI chart here, I think now it makes a lot more sense why the things happened the way they happened, and why the price is suddenly collapsing down, and also why the price is sometimes, and I will show it here in a screenshot, sometimes in the green while the rest of the market is going down. And some YouTubers and some people on Twitter claim that Ecomi is decoupled because the use case is so good and all the other projects that are moving together with Bitcoin and Ethereum are not, but the OMI project would be decoupled from the rest of the market. Well, there is a certain truth to that decoupling, but in my opinion it's not a good one, because these traders, these large whale traders, are not only cashing in and out of USDT, but they are moving back and forth between Ecomi and Bitcoin. So here's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and this is the Wyckoff accumulation. Although the Ecomi pattern doesn't look exactly like the Wyckoff accumulation events phases, it has some kind of similarity. For example, the drop with which the current movement and the whole chart started is looking very similar. And we have here the phases described that I can see kind of also in that whale accumulation going on in Ecomi. So we have the preliminary support where substantial buying begins to provide pronounced support after prolonged down move, which would be the bear rate that I have discussed before. Volume increases and price spread widens, signaling that the down move may be approaching its end. Then we have the selling climax, the point at which widening spread and selling pressure usually climaxes and heavy or panicky selling by the public is being absorbed by larger professional interests at or near a bottom. And then this is followed by an automatic rally which occurs because intense selling pressure has greatly diminished. A wave of buying easily pushes price up. This is further fueled by short covering. The high of this rally will help define the upper boundary of an accumulation TR. Let's go again to our chart here and just transfer what we have seen at the Wyckoff to this one. We have this supposed bear rate, we have the end nearing of this one, and then the panicky selling to despair and the automatic rally. Could that be the first area where whales determined that we have some kind of a support region here? In my opinion, if we would be in some kind of this accumulation phase, we would have tops at 2 resistance lines and a downward move for accumulation. We had that. We had a double top. It doesn't look exactly like this, but a little bit similar. And then there would be a secondary test into that phase, and in which price revisits the area of the SC of the selling climates to test the supply and demand balance at these levels. And I don't say that the price necessarily has to come back to the very low level, but what we actually could see, in my opinion, is that there are tests happening where whales are actually looking for this supply and demand balance at a certain level. So they drive the price down to see how far they can go and how far bulls and diamond hand hodlers have already been moving. It is common to have multiple secondary tests after a selling climax. So maybe we will see still this secondary test or multiple secondary tests, and depending on how strong the holders are in that area, the price will go up and down and up and down in one certain area until we are going to see one more and last drop and then the spring. And if that happens, if that turns out to be right, you want to have some cash on the sidelines where you are DCAing into all these down moves, and you want to have some cash on the sidelines to make a big move into a very nasty drop, into a drop that makes you sick, into a drop where you are almost doubting that the project will go somewhere. That's where we want to enter, and then we want to hold strong. And if we see these drops that make us sick, we don't want to sell. We want to DCA into that, and we want to HODL. And we want to wait out the storm until we see that rise, until the whales decide to push the price in the other direction. Because the only thing that we can do like the whales with our smaller budget is to enter at the points or close to the points where whales decide to turn around the game. We have not the financial power, or at least most of us don't have that, to determine where we want to put 50 million US dollar selling areas to let bulls run out of steam so the price collapses down again. We don't have the selling power to sell a large amount into FUD and bad news to then accumulate back. But we can accumulate at that point and don't buy at that point. However, this is all not financial advice, and there is the risk that this might be one of the last points to accumulate, and then we only head higher and we will never revisit these regions. That's why you have small buys to spread out along the way, and then bigger buys once the drop gets more into the red. And with that said, I am already at the end of this video, and I hope you liked the insights, the content, the thoughts. Nothing of this is set in stone, and maybe I am over interpreting some of the movements, but I think we should be very carefully looking how the price movement develops, because the Ecomi chart is looking like there is manipulation going on, as I have been proving. And with that said, thank you very much for bringing me all the way up to almost 800 subscribers. Please, if you have not subscribed yet, subscribe to my channel and like the video, leave a comment what you think about all of this, and tap the bell to always get notified whenever I upload a video. And I have to say, even though I love my 3 Patreons, the best way to help me at the moment is subscribing to the channel to get me up to the 1000 subscribers here. And if you want to give something, you can subscribe to my Patreon. You get exactly one thing out of that, and that is that you will be minted onto my outro screen, which I will play in a few seconds. And with that said, wherever you are, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, afternoon, and see you in the next video.